9 nations have nuclear weapons. But now the world's most exclusive club is about to get its newest member, Mr. MX. Episode 1, Payload of Justice. In an abandoned Air Force silo that Mr. MX has made his base of operations, with my plans in place, I'll force the world's most powerful man, the Secretary General of the United Nations, to listen to my demands. You say your name is Mr. MX? A one-man state in exile? You demand to address the General Assembly? You say if your conditions aren't met, you'll be forced to take action? You're threatening to blow up Switzerland! And if we don't do as he says, he'll destroy Switzerland. With nukes! This threat must be met with decisive action. Where do we send the carriers? But wait, perhaps we should listen to him. I'm against using force against someone who might be able to harm France. He claims he's a one-man state in exile. Is his government democratic? Switzerland? I say we chance it. In the secret room behind the Secretary General's office, Henderson, call the eels on the secret crime-fighting hotline and get them after this Mr. MX. You don't wish to use the American team, sir? No. The U.S. already feels that they're just a pawn of the UN. We'll use the Europeans this time. And so we join the European Elite League of Superheroes, also known as the Eels, the Greek Typhoon, Red Bear, the Green Lime, the Human Panzer, and Frogman. C'est rien, Monsieur le Secrétaire. Au revoir. Summoned to address the General Assembly, Mr. MX speeds toward the United Nations building, not suspecting that a trap has been set, and the eels are waiting. Ambush! But the eels soon learn that Mr. MX's defenses are not merely deterrent in nature. But no sooner does Mr. MX dispatch the eels, 2 figures leap up from the shadows, representatives of the American Society of Superheroes, Captain Helmet and Deadweight.
Not so fast, Mr. MX. You should know from history that we Americans are always ready to bail out the Europeans.
Instead of fighting, Mr. MX engages Captain Helmet and Deadweight in a fierce debate. You've got it wrong, Captain Helmet. We strive for the same goals.
How can your acts of international terrorism and threats of nuclear devastation compare to our war against crime?
I fight against crime at the international level, as you fight against criminals within your country.
And how do you explain your threats against peaceful Switzerland?
Surely you must agree that my overtures for Switzerland to change their course or face consequences are in line with traditional American policies and attitudes towards rogue nations. Switzerland supports organized criminals through their banking practices, they cheat victims of the Third Reich for their own profit, and they maintain a pro-drug policy, and even have state-sponsored distribution of heroin.
That may be, but international affairs should be left to the governments of the world and the United Nations.
Don't be a hypocrite. You crime fighters are vigilantes operating on the fringes of your legal institutions to avoid the bureaucracy that hampers traditional enforcement techniques. I present myself as an international crime fighter who can bring justice to the deviant nations of the world when traditional diplomacy fails.
Perhaps we should continue this discussion with the Secretary General.
At last. That's all I've been trying to achieve. Mr. MX, you make some excellent points. I believe we can come to an agreement. We all look forward to a long association with Mr. MX. Next time, Mr. MX and his nuclear arsenal travel to Switzerland in Smoke on the Water.